My name is Andrea Celani. I'm the R&D manager and co-founder of Haptyc. Haptyc is a startup company based in Milan that developed a breakthrough technologies in touchscreen market. All of our technologies are covered by several international patents, and this is the team of Haptyc. We are 2 young engineers and 2 senior business managers. Let me talk a little bit about touchscreen. I saw tons of iPad and iPhone, so you know what I'm going to tell you. The touchscreen is a sensor located on the top of your phone that converts touches into coordinates. The controller connected to the sensor converts those coordinates into digital number that activate your graphical user interface. So let you answer your phone call, open an application, and so on. So what is available on the market right now? 2 main technologies: capacitive technology and analog resistive technology. The capacitive technology, like the iPhone or the iPad, cover almost the 50% of the consumer market and is not present on the industrial market. Why? Have you ever tried to take a picture with your iPhone during the winter time or make some draw with a real pen on your iPhone? You were not able to do it because the capacitive touchscreen recognizes only a capacitive input, like ungloved hands, capacitive styluses, or frozen sausages like our friends in South Korea. So instead, the analog resistive touchscreen or Nintendo 3DS game console works with everything: styluses, stick, gloved and ungloved hands, rocks, wrench, everything. So it's covered 95% of the industrial market and the rest of the 50% of the consumer market. So let's have a look a bit more in detail into these 2 technologies. The capacitive touchscreen costs $60 for 9 inches display screen. So the same screen with an analog resistive technology costs less than $10. The volumes are 500 million units per year, while for the analog resistive is more than 1 billion units per year. So why the capacitive touchscreen became so popular in the consumer market? Mainly for the multi-touch. The multi-touch is one of the best things invented for human-to-device interaction, and on the analog resistive touchscreen, you have only single touch. So right now on the iPad 2, we have a touchscreen that costs 20% of the total BOM of the device, and we have a multi-touch. But if we would like to reduce the cost of the touch screen, we may lose the multi-touch operation. And here enters Haptyc. Haptyc developed the first controller in the world that converts any analog resistive touch screen into multi-touch screen. So you don't need to make any changes to the touch screen already present on the market, and you only substitute the present controller with the Haptyc multi-touch controller. So we can add multi-touch functionality to the current devices. And what we called it with a very little imagination, MTAR, multi-touch analog resistive. So we can enable every single touch, analog resistive touch screen already present on the market to the multi-touch. Of course, we can cover the 90% of the industrial market, and the cost of this technology is 1/10 of the present cost of the multi-touch. Of course, we satisfy the single touch operation through a pen-based devices, and beyond the multi-touch and the single touch, we can recognize exactly the pressure of the touches. So we can develop a newer graphical user interface like brush painting, real brush painting on your iPad or iPhone future. So, what is the addressable market? For the consumer electronics, we have estimated $400 million, while for the industrial market, there are several differences, and the estimated value is above 3.4 billion. So, Haptyc is not capital-intensive company, has a lean and clean business model, and operates as a license fee-based company. The guys that you can see on the slides have already tested our technology, and for the industrial segment, we are consolidating our product, and for the consumer segment, according to our key customer, we decided to implement our technology in their reference platform. Why we are here? We are here to searching for money to consolidate our product and go to market. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. So, Soma, I wonder if why it's not already a multi-million startup. What do you think about this technology?
So, every investor that you meet with has their own preference in terms of types of investments they make, in terms of sector. As a lot of VCs in New York, focus a lot more on digital media companies that are more application software content companies versus infrastructure software or actual core technology hardware. And there are still VCs, I don't know, maybe Early Bird if Early Bird does it, but there are guys in the West Coast and Silicon Valley in the US and Boston that still do that. We're always worried about these companies. So in this case, it's interesting. Andrea mentioned that you're not capital intensive. So in this, I feel, first of all, the issue is, okay, so if you're not going to be manufacturing the technology itself, but OEMing it, having outsourced the manufacturing, is it?
No, we don't have any kind of very intensive manufacturing. So
okay.
We depends on the market.
Yeah.
For the consumer market, we may think to license the technology to make an IC. But for the industrial market, we license the technology for a small board that you can connect to the analog-resistive touch screen.
Got it. Well, so I think as an investor, because this is not a place that I spend a lot of time in, but the two things I would want to get comfort over is, one, is this a real problem, right? So the idea that you said about as an Apple iPhone user, am I going to worry about all the time taking my glove off in the middle of wintertime using it? Well, a lot of people are using iPhones and Apple products. I mean, Steve Jobs always manages to find a way that people still use his products. So, the idea is maybe there is a reason to have other alternative ways of using your touchscreen. So, but the issue then is who are your distribution partners? So Apple has a big part of the market. Are you going to Nokia? There's probably a handful of people who you would have to make sure are on board to make this a big business. And
okay.
have you gotten any sense, are any of these people like that you've talked about interested in piloting this technology?
Yeah, on the slide
that you were talking about, like Siemens, those guys. So are they actually right now?
Yeah, we have talked also with some ODM of Nokia, and it's very interested in our technology. But at least we are a licensee fee-based company. So there is a lot of interest in our technology, and we can put our technology, our license, in every single node of the value chain of a device, yeah. Of devices. So from the device maker, so Nokia, or ODM maker, or a component maker, so like the touch screen, or the main board, the IC. So it's depends on the market, and if the market is consumer or industrial.
So my last comment, because I want to let my colleague give some comments too, is that I think in this type of company, we'd want to get some of that feedback from some of those major handset manufacturers, mobile device manufacturers, to get a sense that, is this a problem? Is this something which, so basically a build versus buy decision? And as a VC, one of the things I worry about is that is there too much risk, focus, or dependence on a handful of these large manufacturers? And just at first blush, not knowing a lot about this space, but my feeling about a company like this, if this was a New York-based company, is, I mean, there are definitely VCs and Early Bird or other guys may be ones to talk to, but another thing to think about is that if you develop enough progress or traction with some of these larger manufacturers, maybe you raise a small amount of angel or maybe even debt if there's a way in which that could work, and then it might be a quick flip versus one which you maybe raise a lot of venture capital for. But that's my initial reaction to this company.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any comments from you, Michele?
Yes. But anyway, I think this is, in general, the issue if something is fundable from a venture capital or anyway is a good idea. I will say this is a great product anyway because they have solved a problem, and it's the problem why Apple is using capacitativo, capacitive screen. Obviously, we have to see if this can bring a lot of money that is important for venture capital, but anyway, can bring anyway a lot of money that is worth for a business angels or a smaller investor. What I think is obviously that this is a typical example of what Italy can do, because I think Italy is quite good in making machine and understanding all this engineer stuff. And this is one of the areas where probably we will see a lot of startup like your one. Obviously, here the question that I have is more, there are competitors and it's difficult to replicate maybe with another patent or with another things, the same model that you have. On the other side, maybe to be a little bit more venture ready, the idea could be to try to understand if you can find some application of this technology that can be useful. For example, maybe now we are just thinking about telephones, but to have a technology that is much cheaper maybe can give the opportunity to have much bigger screen that you can put on in every street and to interact with this screen in a much easier way. And this maybe is something that can add some additional value to the idea that you have. So try to understand if this is also opening new markets that are not there today.
This is another great point of our technology, so the scalability. The technology costs the same for a 3 inches display to 24 inches display. So this is not true for capacitive. The capacitive touch screen reaches 11 inches display and go beyond the 11 inches. It's a very, very expensive and tough engineering task. So this is one of the most important point of our technology, the scalability. So what about other people that can do this technology? We may divide the market into 2 segments, consumer and industrial. On the consumer market, there are 2 other guys that can do it. But on the industrial market that represents 3.4 billion per year, we are the only one in the world that developed this technology. And this technology is the only one that you can put in industrial field because the capacitive technologies is not ready for industrial, aerospace, medical. The resistive technologies is the only one that you can put on medical devices, and we talk with medical guys, and aerospace, military, and industrial field.
Okay. One other, I would also suggest in terms of if you are interested on the venture route, besides your colleague at Early Bird, there's also the Siemens or Intel Capital or some of the guys that have not just venture groups, but they also could help liaise with the actual operating units and that could resell your technology. That might be another interesting path.
Okay, thank you very much, Andrea Celani. Thank you.